Hey guys, hello and good morning internet. It's been long. Yeah, I know. It's been like a couple of 1 month or 2 months by now. I'm sorry. Sorry for the delay, but I was caught in an accident and I couldn't give you an update on continue on the series. So let's get started with the same series. But during this time, right, I noticed the interesting article which had come up. Yeah, there was an article by IIT Kanpur in collaboration with some Japanese firm which revealed that electric vehicles in general are not good for environment. I'm not quite surprised by the outcomes of the study because that is what I've been trying to tell you guys. And you have a scientific study which also collaborates on what we say, right? It shouldn't be like we say something and we say something and there is no scientific backing to the claims that we make, but it's natural. So let me just break down. I'm not. I couldn't find the study to justify what they were doing there and how they arrived on this conclusion. But I just want to do fair justification on the claims of that study, right? I don't. I want to support them, yes, but even if you run the numbers plain, you will be able to analyze that what they say is ultimately what you achieve in. So let's just start with the CO2 emissions, right? As per Statista, the overall emission generated from all transport sectors is out of which 39% comes from passenger cars. Right. Even though it says passenger cars, we don't know how much of it is commercial and how much of it is individuals driving their car. That kind of a fine granular distribution is still not there. So if you look at it from a larger perspective, right, these there are more number of these vehicles, yes, but if you look at it, these two structures, right, are your day in day out. They are the ones. They are your lifeblood of your economy, right, and they carry a huge set of transport. If ideally, if you could electrify these two sectors, taking care of this sector would not be a great deal. So I'm saying like this 33%, which is this 23 and this 11, sorry, 34%, this 23 and 11 contribute, have a way higher stake or can have a wide reaching impact than focusing on 39%. Because passenger car is just for people and some car, right? It's not going to be that, it's not going to be very heavy as compared to freight. When you can electrify freight or you have a solution to reduce emission in freight, automatically your passenger cars are going to get your issues with passenger cars are going to get resolved. But however, if you look at it, the other counter argument to this approach might be that it's since there is less weight, if you automate that, if you can electrify that, it basically means that your emissions will shift from this to this and thereby reducing impact. Like, even though it's not the best method, you can still agree to work on it, provided that you see that there is less of emissions. But the question over here would be, are there truly less of emissions? Because if you look at it, to make an electric car, you need a lot of subcomponents, you need a lot of other materials to make an electric car. So if you look at it, how you need, everything starts from lithium, right? And lithium, you get it in two forms. One, you either get it as an ore or you get it as a salt flat, and then you have to aggregate lithium to form lithium metal. But the problem when it comes to lithium or any kind of a metal extraction is there is a process of oxidation and reduction reactions that has to be done in certain sequences to achieve the particular metal. So even that is true for all metals, that acidic and reduction and oxidation reactions. So when you subject a large set of area to this kind of a process, what essentially happens is it creates two sets of problem. One, because of the excess acidity, the whole land as a whole gets polluted, and the process at which you, depending on what kind of a material that you're extracting, the number of cycles of this oxidation and reduction reactions varies. So the more complicated or more minor the element, the more number of reactions that it is needed to isolate the element from its ore or its constituents. As a result, there is a lot of other reagents and other harmful substances which are directly added to your mix to generate the whole metal, right? I'm, so the question now comes that when you see a picture like this, right, does it give you any kind of a feel that what you are doing over here, or the process by which the final end product comes, seems like is very clear or very pure as compared to how we source our products? And I don't think so. I don't feel like that, but I don't know. See, I tried to get the specifics and the details for these, the background structure of how the whole process works, but it's not that easy to find. Meaning, like, it's very difficult, and the kind of reactions that you need, the kind of metals that you need, if you look at it, you need either a lithium hydroxide or lithium chloride, from which you have to refine to get pure lithium metal. You need pure lithium metal because those happens to be your emitters, right? You have the battery, lithium is embedded into your battery. Lithium favors ionic conduction um, between the surfaces. So if you look at it, the kind of effort that goes into making lithium itself creates a lot of pollution. That is one. And it's not like it stops there, right? And if you take a car, the moment you have a battery, you need a very good insulation. The moment you say you need good insulation, you are going for plastics. And what is the source of all plastics? Most plastics are derived from crude as a source, or crude mixed with other components as a source, out of which we don't know how much of this plastics is recyclable and how much of this plastic is non-recyclable. But based on some kind of an investigation that I tried to do across the internet, I noticed that most of the plastics that is used to make your car parts and electrical wiring happens to be non-recyclable, which basically means that you cannot use your existing plastic to do the wiring of the car. So every time you need new wires, new sets of this thing, which basically means that you still have the same demand for crude, right? It's not like you're sidestepping crude. It's just that you're going to have more production for crude. So ultimately what is happening right now is, earlier we were mining only iron and crude to make the whole part of the car. Now we have started mining iron, crude and lithium to get what we want, achieve the same end product. So you remember that in the earlier videos I used to say that technology is always built in layers, right? This is what I mean when I say that technology is always built in layers, which means that once you try to replace something which is very existential or very core to a particular product or a particular end product, right, you essentially rely on your old technology to produce all the subcomponents and all the major give you the design ideas, your material ideas, everything comes from that stem. So as long as you live in this cycle, you will be restricted by what happens. You have to find, to actually make EVs or electric vehicles or emission as less as possible, what is important is we break out of this chain, right? We start creating a completely new product which doesn't rely on old methodologies, right? Until we are capable enough, or until we find teams or companies which have so much of innovative thinking that they can break from this chain, it will to meet our sustainable goals. It's true in every aspect, right? Even quantum computers to everything is derived purely from existential and building on top of existential known theories, right? But the problem with existing is these are things that we might be doing right, we might be doing wrong, and there is nobody who can attest, nobody who can verify that what we are doing is completely devoid of emissions. So it's imperative that students in colleges and students in early career professionals really think about what I say, in the sense like it's important that you start thinking out of the box, meaning completely out of the box, and keep track of what you are doing, so that you really understand, um, and you can impart value which really makes sense. With this, I'll be signing off for today. I hope you got an idea of what we are trying to say. I'm not saying like electric vehicles are bad. I'm just trying to say that with the current way they are and the current way they are made, they do more harm than doing good to the society. That's what I'm trying to say. I do love electric vehicles. They are a lot fun to drive. Even I've not driven hybrid so far, but damn, I really love them. But the problem is, you won't get what you won't reach your objective if we say that this is how we want to solve our problem, right? This is the point that I want to convey, and with this, I'll be signing off for this.